The talk after the last game was defensive discipline. What are you looking for tonight, Fezzi?
Well, as the playoffs approach, things change emotionally. You start going from regular season to late game, end of season execution. You start thinking about the ways you substitute your patterns, late game closing lineups. Those kind of things are the things that Steve Kerr is going to be focused on. That's what the players are going to be focusing on. The season has been up and down for the Warriors. We've had 40 different starting lineups. This season has been more about adaptation than continuity. So you got to find a way to get some rhythm here before the end of the season. And you're trying to do that with some of your star players not even playing back-to-backs. You only have 3 games left, and Steph is out tonight. So tonight is going to be about the role players, DeAnthony Melton, Brandon Podziemski, and these guys really getting in rhythm and staying in rhythm. So when you add Steph and you add Kristaps, it's not so much of a gap and deficit.
The last back-to-back of the season. It feels so good to say that. But yeah, when you talk about 41 different starting lineups as we are anticipating tonight, just the lack of continuity and how difficult it's been in the month of February, the month of March, as these guys have played without Steph, without Jimmy, other guys having these injuries. What is it like, the guys who are healthy right now, the ones not on the injury report, still the accumulation on their bodies?
Well, it's kind of like this show right now. When you have a chance to play when the stars are out, there's a chance to see what's on your bench and see like what guys can do outside of the regular lineups. And with Steph on the game, you have more space, you have more three-point shooting. Now there's way less margin of error. The good thing about that for the Warriors, though, is on the other side, you don't have Luka and you don't have Austin Reeves. So it kind of evens the floor a little bit. For the Warriors, they've had games that they've won with their bench. The ability to lock in on defense, that's going to be really important tonight. Really getting back to those defensive principles. Draymond has been a monster on the defensive end. He's been helping. He's been recovering. You've seen him on Wemby. You've seen him on KD. Yeah. These are the things that you continue to strengthen. I'm assuming you're going to see a little bit of Draymond on LeBron if LeBron plays tonight. And so these are all the things that you can work on. Even with Steph being out, there are little things that you can still tweak.
All right, LeBron not even on the injury report. So yeah, Draymond relishes a game against LeBron. The Warriors injury report lengthy tonight. 8 players out. One of them will be Steph Curry. Guy Santos remains out. Will Richard was a late scratch, late game. He's out again. Kristaps Porzingis is out. You can see the whole thing there. We would be talking about, the fourth.
Who's playing tonight, KB?
We'll get to the starting lineup later in the show, but why don't we go inside to Chase Center to say hello to Dalton Johnson and Monty Poole, because all of these injuries.
Monty!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And the game. It's the end of the season, huh?
I should know better. I know. I didn't let him have his thing.
Two-time. I see you.
Want to try one more time?
Monty!
Petalluma's finest, Dalton Johnson, just to borrow Bonte's words. Listen, the problem is the Warriors have not had a lot of opportunity to see Steph Curry and Kristaps Porzingis on the floor. That was a major storyline to see if the Warriors should re-sign KP. Dalton, what do you think about time running out here?
Time is running out, obviously. Only a few more games in the regular season. The Warriors knew what they're getting themselves into when they acquired Kristaps Porzingis. At the time with the Hawks, he had only played in 17 of Atlanta's 53 possible games. Now going to tonight, he's played in 12 of the Warriors' possible 24 games since making his team debut on February 19th. Monty, is this a concern of yours as they try to evaluate Kristaps next to Steph Curry?
It's the biggest concern this team has right now, other than obviously getting general health before they get to the play-in tournament. If you think about this, any hope of the Warriors making any noise in the postseason with their offense rests upon Steph and Kristaps Porzingis playing on the floor together. You picture it, you think, oh my God, that can devastate a defense, but you want to see it. And right now, it's just in your mind. It's something you can draw up. But you got a total of 6 minutes of video right now they played together so far this season. The whole idea of getting Steph back before the season was over was to make sure that he can play with KP and that the two of those can generate some sort of chemistry, some sort of synergy there. We don't have that right now. So what you're looking at is right now, we all know Porzingis is one of those guys who can give you sort of what Jimmy Butler gave you in the sense that he can see the floor from all over the place. He makes plays out of the post, gets to the free throw line, but he has the added dimension of being able to make a three-point shot. That floor spacing is good for everybody on this team, certainly Steph Curry. So not seeing those two guys play together it's a crucial element for this team right now. They got to be able to overcome that if they don't get a chance to see it.
I think back to the 2019-20 season, and that's the year that they acquired Andrew Wiggins. Steph Curry and Wiggins only played together for one game. But Wiggins was not going to be a free agent like Kristaps Porzingis is going to be, and just a much, much different player. You want to see the element of this pick and pop, this pick and roll between Steph and KP. So just the element of the evaluation and just what exactly they're going to get, we don't know yet, Monty.
Yeah. We know if this offense can cook, but we know it can cook if it has both those guys healthy, and we don't have that right now. We don't have it tonight. Steve Kerr hopes we can see it tomorrow in Sacramento, but we don't even know that right now. So right now, there's a lot up in the air with this Warriors roster. Al Horford may come back, and that'll give the team a boost, but Curry, Porzingis, that duo is going to be the key to whatever the Warriors can accomplish once they get to the play-in.
The hope is that they are back tomorrow, as well as Al Horford. Fingers crossed, time is ticking out. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Feels like a fingers crossed kind of season. It almost feels like Steph Curry's fate tonight was tied to KP as the Warriors make decisions about who to play on the first night of a back-to-back. Well, if KP wasn't going to play, well, why play Steph then? Do you know what I mean? Because then they would have to mix up for the next game against the Kings. So this looks like a strategic move to make sure we can see Steph and KP for the next game.
Okay, so I understand the strategies because you want to see Steph and Kristaps Porzingis play together. The problem is, KB, Steph, I want to see Steph play after a really hard game like he did last game. I want to see him play in back-to-back games. I want to see how he recovers after those games. But one thing I understand is the offense is way better when Steph is on the floor. If Kristaps gets to be on the floor with Steph Curry, I think part of the thing and part of the adjustment is you have to understand the spacing. One of the games, a couple games ago, you could see how it just clicked for the team. They understood exactly where to be. Towards the end of the game, in crunch time situations, guys knew if Steph gives up the basketball, it's almost instinctual. I even know this sitting here still. When Steph gives up the basketball, you know to go scream for him and know that he's going to come out on the other side. These are things that you have to know from playing with Steph. Well, Kristaps hasn't gotten that much time with him on the floor. You're excited to see how the defense reacts, because if you leave Kristaps and go chase Steph, you have a 7-2 guy at the rim. That's a lob, that's a dunk, that's a hook shot. All those things are the things the Warriors feel like they can make a run here at the end of the season if both these guys are healthy.
Well, and maybe Steph needed this night as well. He is still in injury management with this runner's knee after he missed the 27 straight games. He came back for the Rockets, came back for the Kings. But how is his knee doing? That's something the Warriors will have to monitor for the rest of the season, something Steph will have to keep an eye on for the rest of his career. Now, one question for tomorrow, because Steph has been coming off the bench for the last two games, getting about 25, 26 minutes. Do you think Steph is going to go into that starting lineup tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow, I think it's time to start pushing the limits of what you can do. I think, if you're trying to play here at the end of the season, you got to get Steph out there on the floor. You got to get him to get some minutes. You got to get him to get minutes with the starters, starting the game the way that you would in the playoffs. But we've also seen Steph come off the bench in the playoffs against the Sacramento Kings just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And he came out and did what he does best, right? He lit it up. What I'm excited to see is the lineups. I want to see the Warriors get healthy here at the end of the year. Al Horford is another person that we haven't talked about. His lineup with Kristaps Porzingis and Draymond Green, that defensive lineup is something that's still yet to be figured out. So there's offense tinkering that you got to do and recalibration. There's defensive recalibration. But for the Warriors, there's a lot of teams out there who don't even have this opportunity to even try to make a run. So the Warriors are like, okay, all right, if we get these pieces healthy, we could probably do something and make some noise here in the postseason.
That kind of season where they're tinkering at game 80 in the season. Man, it's just been that kind of way. All right, when we come back on Warriors